Now, for those of you unaware, I am a ranter. I have entire YouTube videos devoted to me expressing my opinion, whether it be on a topic which everyone agrees with me on, or whether it be on a topic in which I take the unpopular opinion and everyone seems to go apeshit and say, why would you even say such a thing? That's unethical and just overall makes no sense. And through this, as stated, many people are going to disagree, and through that, I'm going to need thick skin if I'm going to be able to cope with all the negativity which I'm going to receive as a ranter. And through the negativity, which is expected, throughout all of the opinions in which I've stated regarding political issues, social issues, politics, and just overall everything, there's one thing which I've never really got, one thing which just baffles me and makes me say, that makes no sense. And it's people that turn to me when I say that I just generally am appealed to girls with a nicer bust and a nice ass, you know, good tits, good ass, and those are the type of people that turn me on. And then people will turn and say, you're a fat scum, and many people say, well, that's just feminists that do that, that's expected. Feminists are prone of doing such things. It's not the radical feminists. I'm well aware that they are prone of doing such thing. To call you a fat slob and a fat pig just because you've shown interest in the typical girls with the big tits and the big ass. I'm well aware they're prone of doing that. But the people which I don't expect this from, the people which generally surprise me when they say this, is the men. Typically the ones that are in between, I'm struggling with the friend zone, and just the average Joe. You know, those people in between. The slightly average but simple-minded idiots, basically. But being simple-minded, I didn't expect them to take an opinion this fucking dumb. I expected them, despite being simple-minded, to at least comprehend this. The people that turn to me and say, well, the only reason that you're interested in the big tits and the big ass is because society tells you to like that. Society has programmed me to think that way and be attracted to those people. Ever since I was born, it was implemented in me. When I hit puberty, it was implemented in me. And people will turn and say, that is the reason in which I have my libido towards those people. It's not to do with the way I am neurologically. No. It can't be for the way that I think neurologically. Why would someone have a fetish due to how they are in the brain? Of course not. That's not how it is. It's because society told them to get off to that. Because society is holding their hands as they jerk off. And that's the only way that they can get off, by society telling them, you can't be aroused by children. Okay. You can't be aroused by animals. Okay. But you can be aroused by the big tits and the big ass. You can't be aroused by small tits, small ass, or any of that. And all of the people that are into big tits and big ass are just brainwashed by society and are taught to think that. And not, you know, it just didn't come naturally, of course. Of course not. The same people that'll turn and go against people like Caden Cowger for spewing their homophobic idiocy will turn to people like us and say, oh, well, the reason you have that sexual preference is it's not natural. It's because of society. My fucking God. How fucking stupid can you be? It's introduced by society, and that's the only reason we're interested in that. You know, it couldn't be for the fact that big breasts are just naturally appealing to humans on a natural level, because big tits indicate that they'll be better mothers and better carriers. It couldn't be for that. It's just because we are just taught to like the perfect people. It's not because of the fact that that's just our natural attraction. I'm not into bondage, BDSM, males, and all of this because I just happen to find that generally appealing. It's because I was taught online to like that. When I saw bondage, people turned and told me, Lachlan, you ought to like that. It wasn't because I saw it and said, well, this appeals me, this gravitates to me on a sexual level, and I really like watching this. I get off to it, and it just makes me happy. It couldn't be for that reason. It's because I was instilled and indoctrinated to believe it. It had nothing to do with me just happened to like it. It was due to manipulation and indoctrination. Of course. Every sexuality was due to indoctrination. That's why people that are closeted gays are gay, because their parents indoctrinated them to be gay. Wait a minute. This line of reasoning's starting to not add up. Can you start to see the flaws in your arguments and realise how fucking moronic they are? To say that a sexuality is instilled upon someone, yeah, that's because there's closeted people. Case in point, closeted people. People hide their libido because they're afraid of social reaction. In fact, I've actually known people that would hide their interest in big tits, in big ass, because they don't want to come off as superficial. So, saying that it's due to indoctrination makes no sense. This just proves that you idiots are anti-science, and are only in favour of science if it just happens to prove your point. But if it happens to go against your point and prove you wrong, that's when you turn the blind eye and say, I don't need science. Get that shit out. Isaac Newton was so wrong about gravity because I want to float in the sky. Fuck the apple that dropped on his head. Fuck it. Fuck the apple. And fuck you idiots.